and welcome to the Bob Box. First of all, yes, I am aware this episode, the 101st episode of the Bob Box, is not about 101. That's randomness for you. Instead, enjoy the story of Tough as Nails, made by Dutch team Team Codox, which made its debut in the second series of Dutch Robot Wars. It was not the team's first robot. That would be Arena Killer, or as it was known in the German wars, Absolute Krankkraft. It did no damage to the arena and was listed as both having and not having the means to self-right. Spoilers, it didn't. Tough as Nails also has no Streamic. It needed no Streamic. You see, Tough as Nails was an invertible horizontal crusher on wheels. Literally that. As for Tough, well, it was the first robot to be made of Hardox. So let us start with the Dutch Wars and head over to Heat D of the second series, where Tough as Nails found a home. I should get round to learning Dutch. I have watched the Dutch Wars without subtitles for this episode. Dankeschön, YouTube. Yes, I know that was German. Tough as Nails' first fight was against box flipper Scrap 2 Saw, whose name may vaguely ring a bell from episode 18. I should also note that Gravity, another flipper, is in this heat. And also in the pit interview, some of Tough as Nails as humans sat on it. As for the battle, Tough as Nails got off to a good start, chasing Scrap 2 Saw, clamping it, and taking it to an arena wall. Then Scrap 2 Saw flipped Tough as Nails. Scrap 2 Saw drove into dead metal, but Tough as Nails' weapon was stuck open. Well, closed. So Scrap 2 Saw flipped Tough as Nails again, which freed the claws. However, shortly afterwards, Tough as Nails died and got counted out. So along came Mr. Psycho. It got carried over to the drop zone and had 2 barrels land on it. They did nothing. So Mr. Psycho opened the pit and Tough as Nails came back to life. Dead Metal tried to pit Tough as Nails and the barrel, but Tough as Nails pitted itself instead. So it was out. So, now to Series 7. Tough as Nails did not win its qualifier battle, but was awarded a place anyway. It found a home in Heat M, where it faced the Flying Blade of BOD, Horizontal Flywheel Disco Inferno, and Flipper Stroke Spinner Robo Chicken. Yes, Robo Chicken, it comes with a tiny little spinning disc. Tough as Nails wanted to go for the House Robots. Tough as Nails started by opening the pit and grabbing Disco Inferno before sending the spinner into the hole in the ground. This was quickly followed by Robo Chicken flipping BOD over. By design, BOD could not self-right, so that meant the fight was pretty much over. Nobody told Robo Chicken and Tough as Nails, though. Robo Chicken tried to flip Tough as Nails. Tough as Nails grabbed Robo Chicken and sent the flipper to shunt, who axed it. Tough as Nails sent Robo Chicken around the arena, whilst BOD was being counted out by the ref bot. Then Tough as Nails pitted Robo Chicken too. You see, Tough as Nails was organising a pit party and all of its opponents were invited. Only BOD was still on the arena dance floor. Doing the house robot's job for them, Tough as Nails put BOD on the drop zone. BOD had bowling balls land on it, and they are heavy. It was at this point when Shunt showed up, but Tough as Nails wasn't having any of it, and took BOD to the pit party. The pit was now full. Next up was Lifterbot and Series 2 champions Panic Attack. In Series 7, Panic Attack also had a new driver, this is significant, and was seeded 8, this is also significant. So the first thing Tough as Nails did was grab Panic Attack and introduce it to the pit release tyre. It then let go, which meant Panic Attack could try and lift Tough as Nails. Tough as Nails then momentarily grabbed Panic Attack, bending one of Panic Attack's side skirts slightly. Panic Attack got grabbed again when it got onto it. Got free though, but Tough as Nails managed to end up dangerously close to Mr. Psycho's hammer. Once Panic Attack was at the wall, Tough as Nails went over to Sergeant Bash before returning to the Welsh robot. So, Tough as Nails grabbed Panic Attack and pushed the 8th seed into a corner. Panic Attack chased Tough as Nails briefly before another attack by Tough as Nails left Panic Attack's lifter at a funny angle, something that Jonathan the commentator took his sweet time to notice. Tough as Nails kept grabbing Panic Attack though, and the Welsh robot did get a shove in. Tough as Nails then took Panic Attack to Sergeant Bash. Panic Attack escaped. Instead, Tough as Nails grabbed Panic Attack and pushed it into the ref bot. The ref bot. Once again, Panic Attack escaped, only to drive right into Sergeant Bash, who just added insult to injury. Tough as Nails then grabbed Panic Attack and started there to push it towards the pit, but Panic Attack elected to push back, making life difficult for Tough as Nails. Tough as Nails managed to win the pushing war, but Panic Attack ended up with Sergeant Bash and not in the pit. So Sergeant Bash just made Panic Attack's lifter situation even worse, going from that to bent back onto itself. Panic Attack was lucky to dodge Mr. Psycho's hammer. It drove straight into Tough as Nails instead. So Panic Attack would not give up. In the final seconds, they tried to pit Tough as Nails, but they missed, and so time ran out. So the judges were called in, as were the audience. They went for Tough as Nails. So, crucially, did the judges. That put Tough as Nails through to the heat final to face Robo Chicken again. Robo Chicken went into the battle showing no fear. They tried to flip Tough as Nails. They turned the Dutch robot over on their second attempt, which sent Tough as Nails dangerously close to Shunt. Tough as Nails escaped, but it ended up getting flipped again. So Tough as Nails went round to the other end of Robo Chicken, the end with the spinny thing, and grabbed them, pushing Robo Chicken close to Shunt, only to nearly get hit by Shunt's axe. Robo Chicken escaped though, and tried to run away, only for Tough as Nails to grab Robo Chicken and push it into a wall. Robo Chicken somehow got free and attempted to remove Tough as Nails from the arena. Imagine if Tough as Nails had been neutered by Robo Chicken. But Tough as Nails landed on the right side of the arena wall, so no out of the arena flip for Robo Chicken. So, Robo Chicken chased Tough as Nails all the way to the pit release tire. Given Tough as Nails' preferred tactics, this really was playing with fire. So, Robo Chicken flipped Tough as Nails over and both nearly dove into the pit. Both escaped, and Robo Chicken resumed trying to get Tough as Nails out of the arena. The flips were now doing nothing. So that meant Tough as Nails could try and take advantage of this by grabbing Robo Chicken and trying to get it into the pit. Of course. Robo Chicken got sent to an angle grinder instead, which provided some nice sparks. Robo Chicken escaped though, so Tough as Nails grabbed Robo Chicken and sent it to Shunt. Shunt axed Robo Chicken. Once Shunt was done with axing Robo Chicken, Tough as Nails grabbed Robo Chicken again and trying to send the flipper to the pit. But by the time ran out, both robots were in Shunt's corner patrol zone. So the fight went to the judges. They went for Tough as Nails. This time, the crowd did not agree. But Tough as Nails was through to the semi-finals. The end of Heat Poem was even about Tough as Nails beating Robo Chicken. Before we talk about Tough as Nails' semi-final, we must talk about its World Championship qualifier. The one that happened literally 2 heats later. Because chronological order! This was the Dutch qualifier. The Dutch champion, Pulverizer, had already got through. Tough as Nails faced 2 robots from its Dutch heat. Box Flipper Scraptosaur, which you may remember from episode 18, and also Tough as Nails' only opponent in the Dutch Wars, and Wedge Flipper Gravity. See, that's why I mentioned Gravity earlier on. For context, Gravity had already made it to the semi-finals of the 7th Wars, but by this point Scraptosaur was already out. All I will say is this is a long story that involves flippers and Hawaiian shirts. Speaking of shirts, Gravity's team and Tough as Nails' team were wearing Pulverizer t-shirts. Pulverizer being the Dutch champion that had already qualified for the World Championships. Tough as Nails immediately went for Scraptosaur and the pit released her. As soon as the pit was opened, Scraptosaur was dumped in. Revenge is speedy. Oh, and for further context, Scraptosaur had beaten Gravity as well, and it had made the grand final of the Dutch Wars. So that meant Tough as Nails had to take on Gravity solo. Gravity turned Tough as Nails over quickly before Tough as Nails grabbed the ref bot for a moment, not Gravity. Refbot. But then Tough as Nails briefly grabbed Gravity before driving over the flipper. Why? Tough as Nails got flipped again before once again grabbing Gravity and dumping it into the pit too. Another pit party. So the result was one tidy arena, one pit party, and one spot in the World Championships for Tough as Nails. So, let's get back to Series 7, where Tough as Nails faced another flipper. 12th seeds Bulldog Breed. And the good news for Tough as Nails was that Bulldog Breed was poorly and in need of a VET. Tough as Nails had a rubber glove attached to it, a battle trophy given by Robo Chicken's team. Bulldog Breed turned Tough as Nails over right away before Tough as Nails grabbed the seeded robot. Momentarily, anyway. Bulldog Breed tried to flip Tough as Nails, but the expected flip didn't happen. It was basically Tough as Nails was on top of Bulldog Breed, and nothing happened. So Tough as Nails opened the pit again. So Bulldog Breed flipped Tough as Nails repeatedly, even managing to land the Dutch robot on the wall, not over it. But Tough as Nails got free. So Tough as Nails grabbed Bulldog Breed until the 12th seeds flipped themselves free. So Tough as Nails grabbed them again and tried to send them into the pit, but instead shoved them into a wall. Thus began a pushing war in which Bulldog Breed tried to get Tough as Nails over to Sergeant Bash. Tough as Nails was having none of that. It ended up getting pushed over the flame pit instead. Once Bulldog Breed got free, it flipped Tough as Nails repeatedly, again. Once again landing the Dutch robot on the wall. Once again, Tough as Nails got free to grab Bulldog Breed, but couldn't pit it. As time ran out, the seeded robot was chasing Tough as Nails. So the fight went to the judges, who went for Bulldog Breed. So that meant they were out. But there was still the World Championships. First up for Tough as Nails was Swedish Rambot Rawbot and Full Body Spinner and the new UK champions, Typhoon 2. However, pre-fight, Typhoon 2 withdrew, citing technical problems. So, as it was 3 robots go in and 1 leaves with a win, the fight went on. Tough as Nails' first move was to chase and grab Rawbot before using the Swedish robot to open the pit. Rawbot did get released, but it also didn't move. So it got pitted and Tough as Nails went through to the semi-finals. Next up for Tough as Nails was Lifter Stroke Rammer Storm 2, fresh from its Series 7 Grand Final, where things went a bit haywire. Tough as Nails grabbed Storm 2 right away, but it was Storm 2 who was easily winning the pushing war, pushing Tough as Nails into walls. It got released and elected to push Tough as Nails into Mr. Psycho before ramming Tough as Nails a few times. One of these attacks removed Tough as Nails' right tyre. So Tough as Nails opened the pit, grabbed Storm 2, but got pushed into Sir Kill-A-Lot, and then another wall. Then Storm 2 elected to push Tough as Nails into the pit. Tough as Nails tried to fight against it, even attempting to invoke taking you with me, but dropped into the pit. The tire followed. Very nice of you, Storm 2, to keep the arena tidy. Good going. That was the last episode of the original run of Robot Wars. In between Series 7 and 8, Tough as Nails won the European Championships, a title it had already won once prior to Series 7, and won the International Special in 2011. It also entered the UK Championships in 2006 and managed to escape the pit, but eventually in another fight got flipped out of the arena. It was also in the World Championships in 2015, but got flipped out of the arena in the quarterfinals. In 2016, Robot Wars resumed, huzzah, and Tough as Nails was selected for Series 8. Team Codox had a change in team members since the last time they were seen on TV, and Tough as Nails had new internals, new wheels, but the claws, tellingly, had remained the same after all that time. That's how tough they were. Tough as Nails found a home in Heat B, fighting horizontal flywheel spinner Disconstructor, hammer axe bot Thor, and 360-degree lifter Shockwave. Time for a bit of fighting talk ahead of the battle. The first robot Tough as Nails came into contact with was Disconstructor and Shock Horror Probe. Shockwave beat Tough as Nails to the pit release tire. Tough as Nails then sent Disconstructor in the direction of Shunt and the floor flipper, from whence Disconstructor flew. Before Shockwave scooped them up, pushed them into a wall, and pitted them. It was at this point when Tough as Nails grabbed Thor, and Shockwave came over to help the Axebot. This meant that Thor could try and axe Tough as Nails. It kept missing, and Tough as Nails could grab Shockwave once Thor had been removed from the jaw crusher. Shockwave pushed Tough as Nails into a wall and got released. So once again, Tough as Nails went after Thor. Thor tried to axe Tough as Nails, but it landed its axe blow short every single time. So Team Codox took the decision to try and put Thor in the pit. Thor was having none of this. With Shockwave's help, Thor pushed Tough as Nails up one more, but still missed with its axe shots. Thor pushed Tough as Nails up a second wall and managed to land its axe blows on Tough as Nails. The Dutch robot ended up on top of Shockwave. This caused Thor to be released, and also the axe blows caused the link to come out. So Thor sent Tough as Nails into the pit, keeping Disconstructor company and attending a pit party for once. And Tough as Nails came so close to changing the course of Series 8. Instead, Tough as Nails went out. Not selected for either Series 9 or 10, Tough as Nails was a reserve for the second World Series episode at the end of Series 10. So when the Dutch Sergeant Bash tribute, The Bash, had to withdraw, two team members removed their blue fleeces to reveal Tough as Nails t-shirts. And Angela unveiled Tough as Nails, hiding beneath a Dutch flag. Tough as Nails got to fight Thor in what was basically a grudge match. For context, Thor had not long since been in the 10 Robot Rumble and lost, and been in a tag team fight where the robot got annihilated. Thor's lone team member had also got hold of some Dietor fur, because Dietor was also in the World Series. Well, at least in spirit. The good news for Tough as Nails was this was a one-on-one fight, meaning there was no Shockwave to help Tough as Nails, as Shockwave had retired anyway, and its successor was not in the World Series. So, Tough as Nails got some encouragement from the rest of the World team's captain for the episode, and went off to battle. Thor immediately reversed onto the flame pit to set the Dietor fur on fire. Flamethrowers are banned in Robot Wars, so this is actually the nearest anyone can get to Blacksmith's flaming hammer from BattleBots. Well, flamethrowers are actually banned unless you're Sergeant Bash. Thor then scooped up Tough as Nails and started axing the Dutch robot repeatedly, sadly losing the flaming fur. That ended that fun then. Tough as Nails then got away and released the Fog of War. So Thor scooped up Tough as Nails and sent it to Matilda, who turned the Dutch grabber over. Tough as Nails missed with a few grabs and nearly reversed into Shunt, but escaped the house robot. Tough as Nails and Thor ended up close to the still burning fur before Tough as Nails pressed the pit release tire and sent Shunt on a rampage. It axed Thor, ultimately turning the axe bot over. Thor could self-right though, so it was fine. So it was back to axing Tough as Nails. Tough as Nails nearly grabbed Thor's weapon in such a way that it could have bent, but narrowly missed. So, whilst Thor was axing Tough as Nails again, the judges commented on how Tough as Nails was, because it was still moving after all Thor had done. Time ran out on the battle and the judges were called in. They went for Thor. Sadly, that was the last episode of the reboot. However, of course, it wasn't the end of Team Kodox. They were involved in a 3-way Dutch team collaboration for BattleBots, which produced the Drum Spinner reality for the 2018 series. It won 2 fights, it lost 2 fights, and didn't make the last 16. This is the point where I have to address the elephant in the room. Tough as Nails' tactics of dumping its opponents in the pit has been seen as boring by some. The way I look at it, a contrast in styles is needed in robotic combat, as it is with a lot of sports. Tough as Nails brought that contrast with its own tactics and dumping robots in the pit. It was contrast to removing the robots from the arena or just outright destroying them. However, I have to say this Tough as Nails was very vulnerable to flippers. And in the Flipper Heavy Series 7, that was always going to be a problem, but it always lasted. And breathe. So, important question. Who's going to be the subject of episode 102? Let's just find out. Well, this one hasn't got a very long name. It's called Jabba. Until next week, Allison244, out.